Hello, how you doing? This is Josh, Jeldon Music, and today I wanted to do a tutorial on how you can connect your Reason to a MPC, as we see here. And when I'm saying connecting it, I'm saying like having a uh, MIDI time code connection. So just imagine if you have remote computers that have software on it, like this case that we have Reason. How can we make it where everything syncs up? First thing, before you could get that to happen, you do have to have interfaces or MIDI devices to be able to connect from from the computer to the MPC. There's many ways you could do that. They have it from where you can use like an interface. Like in this case, I'm using the Vault uh, from UAD. Then I have like another interface that's connected directly into the MPC. So like as you can see here, if I go into the preferences, you can see the audio device. Well, let me switch the screen so you can see it. But you can see the audio device. So I have a couple of them internal. In this case, I'm using the AMS Neve, if you can see it. All right, so that's one thing that we have. So now that gives me 32 channels of inputs and outs. So I can sync multiple instruments. In this case, I have a mini freak, and then I also have. Now we're going to add the output from the volt into the inputs of this interface here, the Neve. So now that allows me to have various different channels to access within inside of the MPC itself. So, but before we begin, like, having the sounds and everything synced up, first thing you want to do is go back to your preferences, go to the MIDI sync. And in this case, you want to have, like how I have it here, I have two of the cables, as you can see, the MIDI outs and ins are going directly into the outs and in of the interface of the Volt. And we can see this by how I got it going to MPC1 and it got MPC-A. Those are the output is the A and the MPC1 is the input. And as you can see, I have the MIDI control output to MCA. I'm not going to receive any information. I'm only going to be controlling it. So this is making the DAW in this case into a slave of the master, which is the MPC. Keep in mind this could be done with the MPC Live 3 or any other devices. So once you have that, we're going to send MIDI Clock. So you want to change it to MIDI Clock, send MMC. I have that 30 drop, but you could change, like if you look at my other videos on how you could set the rates and the start times, you can customize it to whatever start time that you want. But in this case, we're just going to keep it the default. We're going to make sure we have the receive off. And once you have that set up, we're ready to go. So we have the audio device and we have the MIDI sync. So once you have that, go ahead and press menu. And then you see where it shows sync on the top. We're going to change that to MIDI Clock, right? You saw the Ableton link. That's another way of connecting the devices that you can use within Reason and Ableton. But we're going to use the MIDI Clock since we are tying this to the physical MIDIs. And this allows for all of the MIDI devices that I have to sync together. So now that we have this, let's go ahead and go into Reason. Okay, so within Reason, first thing you want to do is go into the Preference tab. And as you can see, I have the Volt that's connected here. And we're going to go to Sync. All right, so right now I don't have the Akai Network MIDI. This is a feature that I may want to turn on, like even in this demonstration. But this allows you to have a network of your of the MIDI as well. But before doing that, let's just go ahead and change the input, the MIDI clock input, and let's make it the Volt 2. So now, the reason it may be doing that is because of this input. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Well, it's not giving me any type of input. But technically, we don't need the inputs, right? Actually, we do. What am I talking about? So let's turn this off and see why this Volt is not. Okay, there we go. Now we have it. Let's go back and turn the MIDI of the Volt back on. There must have been some kind of error that was going on. So now we have the Volt 2 input, which is going to bring in the MIDI time clock, but it's not necessary to go out because we're not going to control it, right? But we don't have the network running. But let's go ahead and let's see if I can turn this network app on and see what happens with that. See if we can find it. This is an extra step, but as I'll show you, if you do have the network, now I'll show you how this gets set up shortly. So let me show you what it looks like. So I already have it installed, but as you can see, it's already finding my network. And the reason being is because I have it directly connected to the Ethernet. But also, just to give you a quick, just to show you what it looks like. Let me go back. Let me close this here. Bring this back here. What it looks like is the remote Ethernet. When you go into the Ethernet, right now I have the status disconnected. So we're going to enable that. Enable it. So it's funny how it's already showing the previous connections that I had. So like if we go back, let's see, let's go back, let's put the display on there again. Now we can see the correct configurations, right? So just a recap, we have set up the MIDI time clock, and now we are setting up a MIDI, Ethernet MIDI, which is going to allow us to have inputs from various other keyboards that goes directly into Reason itself, right? So this allows us to now play Reason instruments from the MPC. Also, we can use the Volt input, as you notice. So we have two MIDI outs that goes into the MIDI in. So now, since that we have that, we can go back to Reason, right? So back in Reason now, we should be able to select the networks, right? The control, here's the MIDI. Let's change it to the MIDI. But also you'll see that it's available here as a network, and it's already enabled, right? So now that we have this squared away, we should be ready to go, and we can actually start making some music, right? So first thing first, since we are focused on the actual creating an instrument within inside of Reason. Let's define an instrument to use. In this case, I have quite a bit. Let's see what we're going to do. What should we use? Because we're going to pretty much sample ourselves. So one of my favorites, we'll go here, is the Strum Session. And this creates great guitars. Let's just open it up here. Change this to guitar. And now I have a guitar. And we can strum, play chords, right? Wait, hold on. Let's bring this down. So play. Okay, so now we play. Now that we have the guitar, let's make it let's take it up a notch, right? So got the guitar, so let's open up. Let's see. Guitar rig. Like it's really loud. Let me see. All right, so now that we have a guitar rig, let's make it sound a little more crazier so it's unique. But as you can see, what you're hearing is coming straight out of the MPC. Now let me show you that because I didn't really show you how I have the MPC set up right now. So the reason you can hear the MPC is because I have the sends. Where is it at? What am I looking for? Volume. Let's go into this menu. I have the ends and it's the inputs are 5 and 6. So 5 and 6 is the input. So, okay, so now that we have those two are synced, let's check to make sure that we have the MIDI time code is set. So we know in the MPC, we already have the MIDI clock is synced. So with inside of Reason, now we have to go to the bottom, either on the profile, you could go from options, sync, MIDI clock, or you can also do it from down here. So now if I press play, let's see what happens. We are getting a movement, right? Let's go back. Let's see, starts from the beginning. Great. So now that we have movement because of the MIDI time clock is set up, we could go ahead and compose. So since you know, if you know about the MP, is only going to start with 2 bars. So we got to make it 4 bars and match it up here. And let's see what we can create. Let's go back into here, and let's make some. Let's change the sound of this guitar. So that sounds kind of cool. So let's record that. So the way we record it is different because we have to press record. Actually, no. We press play and then record. Little different in the process. And now we can also, on the MP, let's add the click so I can hear that as it plays. Of course, the output, you can see it's playing, but you won't be able to hear it. I just switched the output on it. But let's go back. See how it's not looping? Because I set up the loop. But here we go. So timing is a little off, but we can get the beginning. So you see how I can't control it with the Reason, but that's by choice. But if you wanted to go more in depth to set it where you can have both the inputs and outs, that's also an option. But we're just gonna go with the simple setup. So let's make a track real quick, so kind of see how I'm gonna transfer it over to the MPC. I'm gonna play the key of B flat. Okay, cool. Now that we have that, as you can see, I'm gonna go back into the MPC, and there's a couple ways you can sample it, but I'm gonna just keep it simple here. Let's name this track, and yeah, let's begin here, and then I can show you how we could chop it up, maybe. Now that we have this track, we can play. It starts kind of funny. I don't think I had a note in the beginning, so it's leading without a starting note. So let's re-record it with the starting note. So that's pretty cool. Let's see if we can see what we can come up with that. So let's find some drums. And so let's kind of want to change these drums altogether. So we have so you probably see my browser. Let's go to my sounds here. Just MIDI freak, so we know that's on this channel here. The output is this channel here, but in order for us to hear it, we have to create another audio track and put this on here and turn this to 7. And 9 and 10. You probably can't hear it. Let me see. Now you can probably hear it a little bit. Let's see what we can do. I don't know if I'm gonna use that instrument, but alright, so let's save this and call it, let's put it into, let's call this alright, so just a recap, today we went over like the MIDI time code, and we went over like some of the other networking capabilities as far as like using the network MIDI. We didn't really go too much in depth to that, but we did kind of go into how to set it up on an MPC. Hopefully that's been helpful for you. Please like and subscribe. I know I went in a little rabbit hole for a little bit, but hopefully you found value with this video. All right, thank you.